Positive thinking. Sometimes life can be tough, and it is easy to focus on the negative. However, those who are true to the positive and joys of life will see the story for what it really is, the true way we should view life and all its wonders. Read the story below and let it change your thinking about life. Two men are seriously ill and in the same hospital room. For an hour each day, the nurses would let the man closest to the room's only window sit up in order to help drain the fluid in his lungs. The other man in the room spent all his time flat on his back. As you can imagine, with little else to do, the men would talk for hours. They spoke about their families, homes, their lives in the military and where they had traveled. And each day, the man sitting away from the window longed for the hour when his roommate would be able to sit up and describe the details of the world outside their room. He would speak of children playing, of animals peacefully roaming and of happy families playing in the water. Sadly, after months of this, the day arrived when the man closest to the window died in his sleep. After his body had been removed from the room and some time had passed, the other man asked if he could take the bed by the window. The nurses were happy to oblige him and they made the switch. Once they were gone, the man slowly and painfully pulled himself up so he could take his first good look at the world outside the hospital room, the world whose description had brought him so much comfort. To his dismay, he found that the view was not as vibrant as he'd been told. In fact, the window faced a blank wall. Upset, the man called for the nurse and explained the situation. Why would he lie to me? He questioned the nurse. After thinking for a moment, the nurse looked at him and said, "Maybe he just wanted to encourage you. This should be a lesson to all of us that no matter our situation, we can do tremendous good for those around us by looking on the bright side of every situation. Even when we are faced with what seems like an impenetrable brick wall, we can bring so much happiness and joy to those around us if we find positive ways of looking at the world." The man in the story could just as easily have described the bland, brick wall that stood outside the window, but instead of simply passing along his misery and grief, he shared whatever happiness he did have, doubling it. Powerful advice from a dying man. I am only 24 years old, yet I have actually already chosen my last tie. It's the one that I will wear on my funeral a few months from now. It may not match my suit, but I think it's perfect for the occasion. The cancer diagnosis came too late to give me at least a tenuous hope for a long life, but I realized that the most important thing about death is to ensure that you leave this world a little better than it was before you existed with your contributions. The way I've lived my life so far, my existence or more precisely the loss of it, will not matter because I have lived without doing anything impactful. You existed with your contributions. Before, there were so many things that occupied my mind. When I learned how much time I had left, however, it became clear which things are really important, so I am writing to you for a selfish reason. I want to give meaning to my life by sharing with you what I have realized. You existed with your contributions. Don't waste your time on work that you don't enjoy. It is obvious that you cannot succeed in something that you don't like. Patience, passion and dedication come easily only when you love what you do. It's stupid to be afraid of others' opinions. Fear weakens and paralyzes you. If you let it, it can grow worse and worse every day until there is nothing left of you, but a shell of yourself. Listen to your inner voice and go with it. Some people may call you crazy, but some may even think you are a legend. Take control of your life. Take full responsibility for the things that happen to you. Limit bad habits and try to lead a healthier life. Find a sport that makes you happy. Most of all, don't procrastinate. Let your life be shaped by decisions you made, not by the ones you didn't. Appreciate the people around you. Your friends and relatives will always be an infinite source of strength and love. That is why you shouldn't take them for granted. It is difficult for me to fully express my feelings about the importance of these simple realizations, but I hope that you will listen to someone who has experienced how valuable time is. I'm not upset because I understand that the last days of my life have become meaningful. I only regret that I will not be able to see a lot of cool stuff that should happen soon, like the creation of AI or Elon Musk's next awesome project. I also hope that the war in Syria and Ukraine will end soon. We care so much about the health and integrity of our body that until death, we don't notice that the body is nothing more than a box, a parcel for delivering our personality, thoughts, beliefs and intentions to this world. If there is nothing in this box that can change the world, then it doesn't matter if it disappears. I believe that we all have potential, but it also takes a lot of courage to realize it. You can float through a life created by circumstances, missing day after day, hour after hour. Or, you can fight for what you believe in and write the great story of your life. I hope you will make the right choice. Leave a mark in this world. Have a meaningful life, whatever definition it has for you. Go towards it. The place we are leaving is a beautiful playground, where everything is possible. Yet, we are not here forever. Our life is a short spark in this beautiful little planet that moves with incredible speed to the endless darkness of the unknown universe. So, enjoy your time here with passion. Make it interesting. Make it count. Reward for bravery. There was once a kind duke. He was loved and respected by his subjects. This duke had a wicked brother. His name was Frederick. Frederick rebelled against his brother. He drove away the duke. The duke was a peace-loving person. He left the dukedom. He went to the forest called Arden. His followers also went with him. There he led a peaceful life with his followers. Frederick became the duke. The duke had a daughter. Her name was Rosalind. Frederick also had a daughter. Her name was Celia. Rosalind and Celia were fond each other from their childhood. Celia wanted Rosalind to be with her in the palace. Frederick allowed Rosalind to be in the palace with his daughter. This was for the sake of his own daughter, Celia. Sir Roland de Boys was friend of the elder duke who was in the forest. Sir Roland died leaving all his property to his eldest son whose name was Oliver. Oliver was jealous of his younger brother whose name was Orlando. Oliver did not give any part of the property or money to Orlando. He did not even educate Orlando either. In Duke Frederick's court, there was a powerful wrestler. His name was Charles. No young man dared to challenge Charles. But Orlando accepted the challenge. Oliver met Charles secretly. He instructed Charles to do the worst to Orlando. At the wrestling place there were many people. Duke Frederick was also there. In the earlier matches Charles threw little challenges one after another. All the three challengers had broken their ribs. They were struggling for life. Celia and Rosalind also had come there. Duke Frederick asked the girls to talk to the young man, Orlando. Frederick had felt that Charles would throw Orlando down in the fight. The girls approached Orlando. They requested him not to fight. Orlando refused gently. He said, "I have no one to care for me. I do not care even to die." The match began. Orlando was much stronger than Charles. Orlando lifted Charles above his shoulders. Then he threw him down. Charles became unconscious after falling. Frederick and all others were happy. They congratulated Orlando. Orlando told Frederick, "I am the second son of late Sir Roland de Boys." Frederick did not like Orlando from that minute onwards, because Frederick had not liked Sir Roland de Boys. The two girls on the contrary praised Orlando. Rosalind was happy. Sir Roland had been her father's friend. She then took out a chain from her neck and presented it to Orlando. This was the reward for his bravery.